Hi, Tracy. Welcome
Hello.
back.
Hi,
Welcome back,
Tracy.
Tracy.
Trace.
Hey guys.
Hey,
How have
Trace.
you
I want
been?
to. I want to ask you something. Go ahead. Say hello to the Steves. Wanted to ask you how long you and I have been doing interviews together.
Oh my
Do you
God, I
know?
don't even know. Like years, right?
Yes. Yeah. So, you know what? It's been such a long time. Before we get to the markets, I was wondering if you could refresh my memory and tell us a little bit about how you got into the business because you've gotten from point A to point B and your recognition for being a great analyst with commodities and particular oil. Uh, what was your first gig in the business and what motivated you? How did it happen? If you
Um,
want to go back in time with me for just a few minutes.
my actual first job in the industry was literally at a boiler room. I
Okay,
was
I thought I
like
remembered that.
like
Okay,
calling 400 people a day, right? Asking them
yeah,
for money to trade options on futures. So
okay,
literally that was my first job and I kind of just worked my way up from there. I was in managed futures. I worked on the trade floor and managed a trade desk there. Then I worked at a prop firm. Then I went out on my own. And now I work for a family office
okay.
as
Yeah,
well
great
as
story.
a hedge fund telemetry where I do analysis for energy and materials.
Okay, and there that is. Okay, so let me ask you, when you're at the boiler room and you're working and cold calling, what was it for? Makata options?
So it was just options on
Futures?
futures. So any market that they would want to trade,
Right.
right? And
Okay.
you're basically asking for money
Yeah.
to gamble.
To convert their dollars to commission dollars.
Right.
Okay, I know. I've been there.
So
So, all
and
right.
that was like back in the day when it was like $70 a round turn.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah, when you can make
Yeah.
a living as a broker. Yeah.
Right.
Okay. Now it's what? Full service for free?
Exactly, right.
All right. All right. So, Trace, here we are. I think we, achieved some of the numbers you talked about many, many months ago. Relentless move in crude. What's your take on what's happening now? Are you expecting some type of pullback? Is OPEC more cooperative when prices are low and less cooperative when prices are high?
I think no, I disagree. I think,
Okay.
and I kind of talked about this last time. We have seen a total change in this alliance, right? And we've seen their strategy of not cheating anymore and forming a more cohesive group has paid off, and it's paid off in spades. So they're
Yes.
producing less, but they're making more. And I think this year, has proved that even to the shale producers. So I don't think, and I've been saying this for a year now, that really this is a very different group than what we saw last
Decade.
February and March of 2020 when everything
Oh, okay. Yeah,
went
when everything
went
cratered.
south.
Yep.
And
Okay.
everything went south when they called off the deal and started producing as much as they could. So I think lessons have been learned. So really what I think is, I mean, we're starting to get a little bit stretched on crude at this point. I think we got an initial kick yesterday. Well, that there was, the volume was so thin anyway, but because they didn't come to an agreement, which means they're going to continue with their current agreement instead of increasing. That said, I do think they will come to an agreement with UAE. I think what probably will be most likely is they'll do the 400K barrels per day,
Okay.
August through December, and that would be 2 million total. And I think what they wanted to do is they wanted to stretch the deal out from April 22 to December 22. I think they'll probably take that off the table, and that's the agreement they'll probably come to, even though even though it seems like it's taking a very long time. And I do think that they will come to an agreement before the end of this month, because the new cuts would start in August, right? They already have a program in set for July. And so I think as soon as they come to a decision and the market knows that there's more oil coming on the market, then we're likely to see a pullback at that point.
Okay, I think you were tweeting about a long-term trend line that WT broke out of. I can't take it back to the 140 level, but this is kind of, well, you can't see my screen because you're on the phone, but
I can see it.
Oh, okay. So is this kind of what you were talking about? This is a major monthly breakout in
so
crude?
it's a breakout. Yeah, so I wouldn't be surprised if, we went back and retested that breakout, right?
Okay.
Like, I think
Upper 50s?
so. No, I don't think we'll see upper 50s. I think we're going to probably maintain, because the market's actually very tight right now. And even with 400K barrels per day, unless we see lockdowns again, which I don't foresee,
Right.
I think, this market, I think if we get a pullback in this market, we're likely to move kind of range bound for a while. I mean, it's made a huge move, so it wouldn't shock me to kind of see us move sideways, in that like $65 to $75 range.
Okay.
And also we have to look at right now, what else is also pushing up WTI right now. The spreads are blowing out, which means somebody thinks that we're going to see real supply issues at Cushing in the near term, right? So for August and September.
Okay. So there's backwardation in the market right now?
Huge. I mean, if you look at the spreads there, the front months are blowing out. So it's
that's
hugely
a bull market. Yeah.
Backwardated. I mean, DC spread is $7 wide right now.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's huge. So somebody's betting that we're going to have some real supply issues. So I definitely don't see a huge pullback.
Sounds like the Middle East to me.
Soon.
Maybe there any geo risks that you see to everything we're talking about?
I think, WTI would be specifically what's happening at Cushing. The thing that is happening is Saudi Arabia just raised prices to the US for August, so which it decentivizes the US to buy, right? And you'll use local instead. So somebody could have known that, or but so we're going to end up using more of our supply and probably importing less from Saudi Arabia because they're raising prices on us, in other words.
Do we have enough supply to go to without dipping into the strategic oil reserve?
Yeah, well, I think that we'll be fine, depending on how we're exporting a lot right now too, right? Okay. So we've just had the highest exports since last January 2020. The last report just had the highest exports since January of 2020. So we're exporting a lot too. So there is real actual physical tightness in the market right now.
Okay, so maybe to accomplish less buying with Saudi Arabia, we export less?
That could, that probably, would be something that they would start looking at. I mean, we still have some strategic releases right now going on, because when oil cratered back in April, in May and June, they allowed oil companies to store oil in the strategic reserve to get it off the market. So there are releases all this summer from back when they were storing it last year.
Okay. So you also cover natural gas, right, Trace? Not as much.
Not as much, but yes.
Okay, because there are a lot of technicians pounding the table about a breakout in natural gas. I mean, it's had a nice little move. What are you thinking here?
I mean, I think actually there's a lot of upside for U.S. nat gas, being that European natural gas and Asian natural gas.
$14?
And yeah, and it's over 20 in Asia. So
Okay.
right now, even with the cost of transportation, it's much cheaper to import from the US, and we're starting to import from the US, and we're starting
Okay.
to export a lot. So I definitely think there's room to the upside, especially because fundamentally, I think we're going to see natural gas used as a transition
Okay.
between renewables and oil,
Right.
because it's a cleaner fuel. So I think we're going to see a lot more demand coming from, Africa, Europe, Asia, South America. So, again, and, our US nat gas is definitely lagging compared to its counterparts.
Oh yeah, I mean the arbitrage, Europe, our prices compared to Europe is like $10 spread or so. You can make a fortune
Right,
on it, right?
right.
Okay. I know you're also a follower of the dollar, and we've had from when Paul came on the last Fed meeting, we've had a bit of a bounce here, short-lived bounce in the dollar, or does this correction have more legs? Where
I
are
don't
you
know.
at
I
on
mean,
that?
I don't know how high the Fed is going to let the dollar get exactly. From a purely technical point, that kind of looks like a double bottom, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So I definitely could see, us move a little bit higher. I don't know. I don't think they'll let it get much above, 95, if it even gets that high.
Okay.
Is my personal opinion.
So the Fed doesn't want a stronger dollar. Is that what I interpret from your
Yeah, I mean,
first statement? Okay.
yeah,
Because that's deflationary. A weaker dollar would build momentum for what they want to happen in inflation, which is already
right,
happening, right?
exactly. So again, I don't think they're gonna, I don't think we're gonna get a huge breakout
In the
personally.
dollar. So you're
Yeah,
not as intermediate term. You were always pretty bullish a dollar. It sounds like that's been tempered with the
yeah,
decline that we've had.
it is. But that's, that also has a lot to do with, the change in Fed policy. So,
Okay.
you gotta change with the changing
Yeah,
environment.
yeah. Well, my favorite is W.D. Gans' quote of "If you don't learn how to change your mind, you won't have any change left." So, I
That's
mean,
perfect.
that's a classic one. So then, with what you're talking about in the dollar, that it's just a bear market rally. Are you looking to buy the precious metals on this pullback? We had a little pullback, and we're up today with weaker U.S. dollar yen. Still constructive on the gold market, Trace?
Yeah, I actually, yes, I am constructive on the gold market, even though we've had some kind of pullbacks. How I'm actually playing the gold market is through gold miners, however.
Okay.
So I'm long gold miners right now. Um,
The
but
basket or individual, like here's GGX.
yeah, I have individual.
Okay. Newmont, best of breed. But you probably have some small ones too.
I have
You
some
want
small ones.
want
Yeah,
to
I have
throw a name out? I'd be interested in what you like in the mining section. You want to share it?
GFI. I'll give you my secret one. GFI.
Oh wow. Everybody's we're getting the secret gold
So I'm gonna give
miners.
you my secret one.
Okay, here it is. There's GFI, everybody. Tracy's favorite gold miner. Okay. Uh,
So that's
uh,
kind of the way that I'm playing the gold market this time instead of
okay.
actual, because it's been so volatile, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's kind of been a bit difficult to trade. So
Yeah.
instead, I'm playing miners, and there's also a reason for it. I'm playing miners is because, just like oil, there's not enough capex in the industry.
Oh yeah, it takes forever to open a new gold mine or copper mine, even longer than to uncap a well,
Right.
right? Okay,
Exactly.
so that probably means constructive copper. Anything that if you drop it, it hurts if it falls on your foot,
Right.
right? Anything
Yep.
within, as Steve Volge would say, anything with intrinsic value. So I'm wondering here with your take on the gold and your take on the dollar, um, is there anything that you could say about what's happening with the blow off in NASDAQ and the blow off in S&Ps. I'm sure people still ask you, what do you tell them to do if they, for example, they had a new cash to deploy? You tell them just to wait and not go into the market now, or what?
I mean, I think it's all a personal thing. I think, sort of, I think if we start seeing, I mean, I'm a bull this market, right? But that doesn't mean that we're not going to see pullbacks. I mean, if you look, over 100 years, the market's gone, I mean, from left to right. So, so I'm definitely bullish this market, but if I think probably the way to play it would be to buy some protection, right? Buy some downside protection.
Yeah, people feel that's a waste of money now.
I know, because the market keeps going up, but I think that I don't know. We have to. I think the summer we might just have a summer melt up, right? Because lower volumes, it's a quieter market, and things of that nature. But when we come to the fall, I think like last September we kind of had a pretty nice correction. I wouldn't discount that happening again.
Okay, so I think we've covered most of the market. Oh, I know. One of your quotes is, "It's all about yields." Okay, you talk about that a lot. So here's the 10-year trace on the daily. To me, it now looks like we're probably headed down towards 120 or so. Do you think lower yields before higher, or could we just start heading up from here? What's your take on yields?
I mean, I think we could see a little bit lower before higher again. Again, it's all up to the Fed.
It's a tough call.
It's a tough call on this one. I got to be honest. So
yeah, that's it. Yeah.
If you have, it depends what the Fed says, really. Are they going to be hawkish? Are they not going to be hawkish? I'm not really sure. I can't see them doing anything this year for certain.
Yeah.
But,
well, this is what the Fed said, right? This was the Fed. So you could have faded the Fed for a few days. So this was Powell. Right. And then within a day, it gave it all back and actually spiked down here. So it's not even what the Fed says anymore. It's like it has a mind of its own. But anyway, it looks like we're going to get, from where we came from, when you look at this, Trace, this huge move, that this would just be a normal correction before we headed higher, right?
Right.
Okay. Any comment on cryptos or not?
I have to say I'm not.
Okay.
I'm not a crypto person. Sorry, guys.
Okay. Yeah. I don't understand it either. Okay. Well, Trace, I know you have a busy day going here. Anything else that you want to cover before we say goodbye? I do want to let our viewers know this is where Tracy writes and contributes.
Yeah, you can sign up for a 2-week free trial if you want. If you're interested in materials and energy, it's mostly there are some futures calls, trades in there, but they are mostly equity calls.
Nice testimonials, and everyone knows Tracy made flip. She changed her mind to being bullish from being a bear to a bull. I don't know.
For the first time since 2007.
Yeah, see, so that was a big adjustment for you, because you get stuck in a paradigm where it's sometimes, especially when a market's been kind of bearish, you made money selling rallies all these years, to turn it around is a pro move. And we all have a lot of respect for you, Tracy, and your work, and want to thank you for coming in today. And I hope that your new home is filled with happiness and joy, and pips just rain down from your ceiling in your new house.
Well, thank you.
All right, Tracy.
And thanks for having me. Have a great day, everyone.
All right, I'll be in touch with you, Tracy. Everyone at Shy Girl, you could follow her or take a trial. I did. Very good stuff. So take a trial. You could see. Don't write down my email address. And thank you again for your giving spirit and hanging out with us today, Tracy.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
And everyone else, remember, don't just count your oil barrels or your Krugerrands, count your blessings. And we'll see everyone for Turnaround Wednesday, since today is really like Monday. And that's a wrap, everyone. Good hunting. You could join the team in about 25 minutes for the morning edge. Adios. Thanks, Trace.
Thanks.